Could be a new Nike slogan instead of like just do it. Get those titties.
Is that like a sport? Like you talk yourself up?
Yeah, maybe it's like
A competitive thing? Like get them titties.
it's just like a saying. Like it's like just go. Like it means like go up, get after it, man. Or
Is it like a really sort of trans affirmative kind of political statement? Like they put it out in Pride Month and they're like, get them titties. It's like, guys, like commit. You can become the person you want to be. Get them titties.
That's right.
And for straight people, it still works.
It sure does.
So Everyone. It's like, it's a universal motto.
Universal.
You know what you should do? You should call up 1-800-Nike and just pitch it to them. Let them know.
Might do that. Might shoot them a DM.
Well, don't slide into their DMs because that might muddle your message. I think you want to go about this professionally, ideally with a briefcase.
True. Business plan.
Yeah. Print up
ideas.
A business card. Now, there's an idea.
Should
we have business cards?
I think we should.
Because the number of times I feel like I say, oh, I've got a podcast. And people say, oh. And there's a little bit of like you're one of those. And it comes from, I think, this idea that it's a little bit cliche at this point for two white guys to have a podcast. But here's my point. If you then turn that around and you say, oh, excuse me, would you like my card? Slide across the table in front of you. Deep Fort Proprietary Limited Incorporated Esquire.
Yeah.
Then I think the tables turn.
Absolutely. Very intimidating. And I think people will be like, how many followers do you have? And you'll be like, followers. And then just slide across the business card.
Yeah.
And they'll go, well, I assume they've got lots of followers.
That's it. Who would commit so much money to print 1,000 Deep Fort business cards if they weren't getting a commensurate amount of listeners and money?
I think that maybe this is what's been holding us back. You know, we've been doing this show for 10 plus years.
Yeah.
Maybe it was the business cards all along, right under our nose.
What do you think about a business card? Do you reckon there's still a place for it in this day and age?
No, but I find it funny. I mean, I would find it charming, maybe.
Can I tell you, I've always secretly wanted a business card. Okay. And it's mostly so when you go into those coffee shops and they have that open bowl where you can like throw a business card in and then once a month they'll pull a card out and then you get a free coffee or something like that. Yep. I just want to be part of the competition. But I've never had, like, I don't think you could write on a little scrip of paper your name and phone number and just slide it in the bowl. I think they would exclude that. I think this is professionals only.
What about this? It's a business card, but it's also a coaster.
Oh, okay.
That's not bad.
That's not bad. I'm sure it exists. I'm sure you can get that printed up.
Instead of just hiding in your wallet.
Yeah.
You know, you're putting a drink down on, you're picking it up and you're seeing it all the time.
How's this? Hey, mate.
All right.
Next one's on me. Slide the card under.
Oh, very nice.
And then order them a beer. Then you've made a good approach and they've got your number.
We are cooking today, Nick.
And the only asterisk on that plan is that not only do we now need to print up 1,000 custom-made Deep Fort business cards / beer coasters, we also then need to pay for probably like a $12 pint for every potential customer.
It is. All right, we'll just not do it.
Okay, let's not do it then. Welcome to Deep Fort, everybody. This is a podcast. We talk about the important sort of businessy decisions that go into making a show like this successful. And I think it's sort of applicable. Have you ever heard Diary of a CEO? It's basically the same thing. And my, I guess, 2IC or Chief Financial Officer or what's your official title again? President? CEO is available. You want CEO?
I'll slide into that role, yeah.
Okay, and then the CEO to my president. It is my friend Michael. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good evening and good night.
Sunday. Is it evening for you?
It's 5:23 p.m, but daylight savings.
Oh, daylight saves.
DSTs. You had DST today as well.
Sure did.
Well, we had ours a week ago, so you're actually playing catch up. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
But it's light, is the point.
I just came back, I literally just came back from the bush. Well, maybe not the bush, but, Mornington.
Yeah.
And I think it's a nice way to experience daylight savings, because you have you have the loss of the hour, right? You have to wake up essentially an hour earlier, or the day starts earlier, whatever.
I don't think
You know what I mean?
understood that, but yes.
Yes.
If the clock has moved forward, you don't need to wake up an hour earlier.
I know this, but like the day starts earlier,
Sure.
right? But it's a nice way to do that leg of daylight savings, which when you're losing an hour, essentially, it's nice to do it on like a holiday thing because it's not really, you're not really losing out.
Yeah. It does feel like an investment, right? Like this is the one where it's like, look, we don't love it this time of year. We don't love losing this hour. This one's bumpy. But in 6 months' time, there's going to be one beautiful morning where we can sleep in an hour later. So, okay, you can take it today. This feels like this is the work you put in to gain that beautiful endpoint,
Yeah, I think it's a perfect system in a way because, you lose the hour and this might be hard to start off with, but then the benefit, like you get the longer day, so the longer sunlight. So it's like, it works out fine.
Yeah. You're a pro daylight.
I like it that someone just decided to mix it up.
Do you like it not because of what it achieves, but just because it's different? Just like
bit of change,
just a bit of variety.
And I like the abrupt change because, like a season, like I know seasons exist.
Yeah.
If you don't believe the conspiracies about them, you heard about those. So if you believe that seasons exist, we get change, but it's so gradual. I don't know. I like a sudden hard change.
Okay. So you would be against, just in case anyone was thinking of proposing this, adding 10 minutes to the hour, every week for 6 weeks. You like to rip the Band-Aid off. No point.
I want the rush.
Yeah.
I want the rush. And I'd like that for seasons too. I'd like there to be a hard shift. I'd like it to go from winter to summer.
Well, I don't know if that one's going to be as technically achievable. Well, I don't know if they can just like click their fingers. Well, climate change, maybe.
Greta Thunberg.
Maybe. Greta.
Maybe.
Push the button.
Do it.
I have actually had a link in my notes here for a long time that I never thought was really substantial enough to make a whole article about, but I'll put it in the chapter notes here. It's a Guardian article about daylight saving, and we
talk about daylight saving so much.
Do we?
Throughout the like every year, dude.
I mean, it happens every year. We talk about Christmas every year. No one's writing in to complain.
Yeah. I would say that in terms of festiveness, daylight savings is quite slow way down from
it's low.
Yeah,
that's fair. This article was Farmers Launch Fresh Campaign for New South Wales to cut daylight saving. It's mostly full of just the normal stuff you have. Like farmers hate it because they, have to get up earlier, and people say they have to get out at 7:15 and drive their kid to the school bus because it's dark, and it's so dangerous and all this kind of thing. And everyone's sleep deprived, and the same old arguments we always go on. There's a couple of interesting things in that. Halfway through, there's one little throwaway sentence here: daylight saving, not savings, as per common misconception, creates a bizarre patchwork of time zones across the country. So there's one little interesting nugget. Apparently, officially, it's daylight saving, and yet savings. You hear it all the time, savings. And then the other second thing is halfway through, there is this interactive chart which lets you compare the impacts of daylight saving, different waking hours, the time of year you're in, your normal time zones, and you can basically click through and all of it and be like, okay, so how many hours of actual sunlight do I get if I'm in South Australia at this time of year and I wake up at standard hours? And then it shows you this little interactive chart, and that's actually really fun to play around with to see what the actual impact of the actual number of hours of light you get. So if you're curious on that from the science side of it, I'll click on that link in the chapter notes. It's really interesting.
Yeah, cool.
Anyway,
love it.
I don't have much else to talk about with daylight saving, but
yeah, maybe let's save it. Sorry, I'm a bit flustered. I race back from
you did,
from
and
the
I
country,
appreciate you. You haven't even peed.
Sped. Haven't peed. I haven't showered. I hate starting the like. It was because we stayed in this like retro caravan thing, which is fun and cute, or whatever. But it's shared bathrooms.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? No. And then I went in there. I went in there last night actually to take a pee, a shoo, urine.
Thank you for clarifying. Okay.
Just
a sixth.
I just like to say it in all languages.
Have you got a sixth one? Yeah. Spring a leak.
And I kid you not, this is like 6 p.m. There's a guy in there. I do a pee, and then I come out, and in the mirror, I get a shock because there's a guy in there with he's got his shirt off, and he's got tats all over, and he looks kind of ripped or whatever, but he's shaving his head.
Oh, in the bathroom of a like campground.
In the bathroom of a shared bathroom, and I was like, I got quite startled, but I'm obviously trying to play it cool. And he was quite nice, but real prison vibes.
Why?
Real prison vibes from this guy.
Why did you not ask?
Ask him if he's been to prison.
Yeah, no. Ask him why he's shaving his head.
Because I just got a bit scared. I wanted to go out.
How about just like this, just casually? Oh, got head lice. Just it's not that hard, is it?
You know, I did say. Because I washed my hands, and then I was like, I want to get out of here. But then I said, looks good, by the way.
And he was like, my body? Yeah, I've been working out. I've been in prison for 6 to 8 months.
No,
my lawyer got me out on a technicality.
That ass. And then,
So how was your travels?
It was nice. Pepsi got to see the ocean for the first time, which was cool. Well, your dog... Wait, is this a reveal thing? You're gonna make a thing, a song and dance about it?
Well, I had a whole shirt prepared. No, I don't. But it would have been good.
I like that you kind of 25% committed to that.
Yeah, I had my headphones on. It was a bit. Let me see if I can do one thing first.
Oh, cute. I can hear the little snores.
The little snores.
Now, what's Casey doing on the floor?
Good joke. The little snores of a beautiful baby beagle whose name is Goose. Oh. Goose has joined our family as of 2 weeks ago, 10 days ago. And
gorgeous.
She's an angel. She's an angel.
She?
I'll send her a photo. 12 weeks. 12 weeks, babe.
Almost 3 months. Yeah.
That's almost. I'll send you a photo and then I'll pick her up for the camera.
Oh, that's cute. I love the name Goose, by the way.
Thank you. I think everyone takes a second the first time they hear it, and then a second, and they go, oh, yes, that's very good.
Yeah, that's good.
There's a little bit of like just a processing mode, and you watch it in their eyes and they go, Goose. And then they think about it, and then it passes the sniff test. Yeah.
Yes, it does. It's fun. It's fun.
It's fun. You got
it's like Pepsi. It's in the same kind of...
A lot of people have actually been saying that Pepsi's not as good as Goose. But, each to their own, I guess. It's subjective. Well, we can go with loosey-goosey. Loosey-goosey. It's just fun to say. Goosey.
If you get another one, geese.
Geese, yeah. If we got another dog, I would name it the same name. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, you name it the plural version.
Yeah. I sent that picture to you. She's having a little nap on a bed next to me at my feet. And
she's
it
adorable.
is
honestly
just
adorable.
The cutest.
Yeah.
But yes, we're Dog Daddies now. So that's the name of
Welcome
the podcast
to the Dog Daddy podcast, guys.
One day we'll hope to be Dog Daddies, but right now, it's just as standard.
Well, I'm getting there. Getting there.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations to the both of you. It's a big, it's a big step.
Yeah, that's
house, the dog.
It's a ticking off some boxes this year.
You're fast tracking stuff, making up for lost time, if you ask me.
Okay. I didn't realize that was on a schedule.
Yeah,
I didn't realize I was behind. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. She's very cute. I like I like her.
What
I
do you
feel like I
like?
like her. I
Okay.
like her.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
We're settled. We're settled on what it is. We just had her last vaccination on Thursday. We're recording Sunday, which
So now
means she
she can
can now
socialize.
socialize. So we took her out and about, and I got to tell you, absolute chick magnet.
Oh, dude.
I am getting looks I have not seen in years.
Zaddy. No, dude, I said that was the first thing I said to Lauren when we got Pepsi. I was like, man, if I was single, Jesus. I
Yeah,
would. And
just
she's
get
like,
a puppy, get a
I
looker.
will.
Yeah.
The next one. The next one.
But and we took her out to the farmers market. God, couldn't get people off her. Going to the nursery.
How's she with the
Everyone
other
comes around.
dogs?
We haven't actually properly introduced to her a dog yet. She's met Ace, which is Casey's older husky, who lives at his parents' house. But beyond that, we've still sort of kept just a little bit of distance because she's still getting used to it. But we've got some puppy classes coming up in which we can sort of see how that goes.
Yeah, it's a tough one because Pepsi, she's like 6 months now, and she really, I think she just gets excited, but she barks. She's just like a yappy bark, and it's kind of piercing when she sees other dogs. But when she's off her leash and we take her to the dog park, she's fine, and she's like loves to get up and play around and get chased and chase. But it's just that thing of like I feel my blood pressure just sometimes when she just won't stop barking, I feel my blood pressure just spiking, and I can feel this like rage build up. And
Is it rage at her for barking, or is it
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
self-conscious thing about what's everyone else thinking?
It's totally that. Like in the last 2 days, I have left two. We have been eating lunch out, and I had to pick her up and leave because I hated the idea that my dog was ruining someone else's lunch. So I was just
Dine and dash.
But I dashed on Lauren. Lauren
Okay.
said there. But it's that thing because you don't been reading up on it, and first of all it's a natural reaction. It's a natural behavior. So on some level you can't really train them out of it, but like your instinct, or my instinct at least, is to go no, and like yell at her. But then that's counterproductive because I'm not even sure she understands what no is, because
That's the thing,
she just
yeah.
thinks maybe I'm barking too. She's like, thanks for joining in, So like, I don't know. It's hard to training's hard.
I was recommended a book by a friend of mine called Puppy Zen. That's the name of the book, not my friend. And it has a lot
The
of...
book's name is Kevin Anderson.
It's kind of confusing. Maybe I've misread the side of the book. But Puppy Zen, and it's basically about... honestly, it spends far too much time. The first like 3 sections, it's all about like the descendants of like wolves into dogs.
Yeah.
The descendants from wolves into dogs, and how they were domesticated, and like the natural instincts they're all fighting, and like what happens when a pup is born in the wild, like at what ages they start to do certain things, like leave the den, like self-sufficient, what the mum does, all this kind of stuff, like way too much detail to get to a point where it's like teaching you about what age and what sort of behaviors work to reinforce the right things. I think we're lucky because our breeder had crate trained her. Did Pepsi get crate trained?
We were told that she was crate trained, but I don't believe it.
Oh, why do you not believe it?
Just because the breeder, the breeder that we got her from was a bit all over the place.
What, you're gonna have to go into more detail.
I think I did. She had like an eyelash hanging off.
Oh, that, yes.
She had cash in the drawer. She just wore a lot of makeup, like a lot of makeup, like way too much makeup. Yeah, I mean,
So what? She doesn't sleep in a crate. She doesn't like it. She barks when she's in it. What are we talking?
we barely tried. We tried one night, and she was so exhausted from anxiety that she fell asleep. Then the second night, we gave up because she kept crying, so we let her sleep in the bed, and now,
Oh, yeah,
well,
ruined immediately.
but now we like it. We just hope that she grows out. Like, I don't know, maybe she. I don't. We probably fucked it. We probably fucked it.
Look, I don't want to
Really
be the one
early.
to say this. Obviously, as a new dog owner, I don't have that much of a leg to stand on, but I think you've fucked it. I think you
Yeah.
have fucked it. I think you've been fucked, and it's by
This
you.
is this is the thing. Like, I mean, imagine with like human
Yeah.
puppies, babies, whatever they're called. Imagine like
Did they
it's
have a
so
name?
every. Someone looked at Brian. If you know what the
Well, like a
earliest
small
version
human
of a
is.
human
Like a
is.
proto-human.
Yeah, someone will know. Everyone's screaming at them their headphones like that.
Everyone's screaming.
It's babies, you fools! But
That really got me.
like it's so crude. Like every single thing or anything can like completely alter their personality for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
And you don't know necessarily what they are. And it's so like everything's so crucial, but you don't even necessarily know what they are.
Yeah, and it's so easily like who knows which part is the formative part. Like every now and then
Loads.
she's like running around and like gets under your feet and you like step on it for a second and then
Yeah.
you're like, "Oh my god.
Well, now she hates men.
I've ruined it forever." Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's yeah. What were
Yeah,
you saying?
human. Well, no, I was just reflecting on what you said, like raising humans. God, I think at least with humans, you can you have wiggle room, right? Because as they get older, they get better communication, and so you can actually like teach things in a language and hear language back. You know, like there's this like two-way street. With a dog, there is a language barrier.
Yeah, but the thing is though, I mean, you should give what is the balance between love and discipline, like you don't want to give your kid everything. You want them to struggle a bit and learn the struggle. And probably the people that we admire the most, writers or actors or musicians, they're probably people that have had a hunger in them because they had to struggle and they had to fight for something. And I'm not saying that that's as a general rule necessarily, but it seems to be a bit of a pattern. And even with myself, my dad was quite, pretty. He was a disciplinarian, and it sucked sometimes. A lot of the time, it sucked. But a lot of the traits of my personality that I actually like now as a 35-year-old, they're not many. Don't worry. But the parts that I like, humor, sense of humor, or like. Yeah, I think that part of those traits came from a certain type of upbringing that kind of was painful or sucked at a certain time. Do you know what I mean?
How does a sense of humor come from a disciplinarian background? Just because that's the only example you just gave.
Well, I think I don't want to paint it in it unfairly, but like I think it probably evolved as a way to pacify situations and
Gotcha.
to bring levity to stressful situations.
Gotcha.
Of which there were a few. It wasn't. I didn't have a bad childhood. I'm not saying that, but like I think it was probably a response to that. If I could make my brothers or sister laugh if it was stressful or chaotic in the house, emotionally, then or my mum, then it was it was a huge win. I think on some level I thought that was my role.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. I can see that. I wonder in this day and age going forward. I mean, when we were growing up, do you think there was much in the way of like literature about how to raise a kid? Like I think these days there's classes you go to, there's videos you watch, there's, entire sections in the bookstore and everything. I wonder where, you know, upbringing standards came from in, the 60s and 70s and stuff. Like where did that come from? Why was it that kind of style?
From the 60s and 70s.
Well, like our parents when they were raising us, which I guess is late 80s, but they're
Yeah.
I'm talking about in an early media stage. Where did these expectations about how to treat a child come from?
Yeah. Well, I guess, well, probably it came from, wanting to create a society that was productive on a macro scale. It's like, pull your bootstraps up kind of thinking and just get on with it. I mean, the other thing is though, I think because I have immigrant parents, that's not entirely true, but they've come from immigrant parents, my
Yeah.
parents, and I think that's another factor.
Yeah.
War. It's the war. It's the war.
Fair. Okay. And so from the war comes this militaristic style of rule following, and that comes down to your parents, and then they are sort of repeating some of those patterns onto you.
Probably, but this is like I think parenting is often a pendulum swing of overcorrection. So when you have a kid, I assume a lot of people would overcorrect from the misgivings or where they think that their parents failed,
Yeah.
and probably overcorrect in the other way.
It's literal Darwinism.
Say more.
It is a reaction to the challenges and strife of your childhood, and the forms that adapted and survived continue in the next generation, and the approaches that resulted in negative connotations get weeded out in the next generation.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting. But it doesn't necessarily like in Darwinism. It's survival, right? And so whatever the trait or the gene is that survives is the trait that gets passed on. I think this like generational kind of parenting or I don't really know what the word is, but like it's less. It's not even about survival. It's because what works for some people doesn't work for others.
True. In terms of as a child or in terms of as the parent?
Well,
Probably
like,
both.
Yeah, like imagine like okay, you have your parents have this is completely hypothetical. Your parents have a kid and you're the kid and you feel like you weren't loved enough and you didn't get enough attention, and when you cried, no one came to see if you're okay, and you were neglected and blah blah blah. So then you have that, but then you grow up and you think I'm going to overcorrect. I'm going to correct that. I'm going to do what my parents didn't give me. But then so you shower your kid with love. And then they grow up as an adult to be scared and anxious because they when they go out in the real world, they're not getting that back, and they're relying on that now as to cope or survive. Like it just that's obviously just a hypothetical, but like you can see how it's like it doesn't necessarily have a goal that it just kind of oscillates maybe.
Yeah, but the same goal was at the end point trying to make a well-rounded good human being, right? Like there's
Right.
that's the focus, and I guess it's just like you're refining the process generation by generation, hopefully, unless you're someone who
Hopefully.
comes along and perhaps your partner is from a completely different upbringing, and it turns out that you basically discard everything that you did, and you absorb everything they do, and perhaps that's again a sort of Darwinism.
Yeah. Lauren asked me the other day. Sorry that we're spending too long on this, but
No, I mean,
Lauren asked me the other day, "What do you think?" She asked me, "What do I think? What would I be worried about if we had a kid?" And I think what I would be worried about is being too, because I like that. I'm airy. I'm loft. Why can't I? This I'm basically describing. I'm basically exemplifying the thing that I'm trying to describe and can't right now. I'm off in the clouds. I'm off in Michael-Land light. I'm daydreaming. I like that about myself.
Sorry, what did you say? You're off in Michael Land.
Oh yeah, that's what Lauren calls it.
Okay.
It means that I'm listening to a song and I literally cannot. I don't even hear
Process
anything
else. Yeah.
And I do like that about myself. And I do think I'm like daydreaming, but I'm often daydreaming about like space and aliens
Yeah,
and,
about
and like
cool
stuff that
things.
no, but like it's like I do think it's like I'm connected to the world. That connects me to the world. I feel like I'm connected to the world through that kind of thinking or my personality. And I know that if I had a kid and they were like that, I would encourage it. But I think part of I don't know. I think that I would I'm scared that I would lack like the ability to discipline my kid, and then they might turn out like a dickhead.
I mean,
I
I
don't know.
think that's the benefit of having a partner, right? Is that you're ultimately you have a teammate in the process, right? And maybe
Yeah.
that's not something that's necessarily your forefront, and you are always a softie for your daughter or whatever happens.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
and it's not entirely fair to only make the punishment one person's job either, but to
Yeah.
help you be strong enough to uphold the thing that needs to happen, you have someone there by your side, you know?
Yes. Yeah. No, I've when we talked about this, I said I'm already shotgunned good cop as the parent.
I
So
don't think you can do that.
she lost. She lost.
she was like, shotgun. Oh, gosh, God damn it.
Gonna have to get a new personality.
This is a deep and probing question, and I can cut it from the pod if you don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
But have, subsequent to being diagnosed with ADHD, have you thought about what implication that might have if you had a kid and they had ADHD as well?
I'm totally what I'm what I am. I am, and I'm worried that they're going to get my nose probably more than anything. But I'm thinking I'll just get a nose job before they grow up, and
yeah,
then
yeah, good idea.
then they'll be
Then
like,
it's
"Why do I
solved."
have this like nose?" And I'll be like, "I don't know."
Okay, I thought your pitch was that if you fix it, then it won't be passed on. But I like it. I like that you're just covering your ass. Where you're like, "Oh, don't look at me. I don't know. You just must have left a generation."
Yeah, leapt. No, I am, but then again, it's the same thing that I was just saying. That I do like that about my personality.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the same.
This
thing.
was not
Like,
me,
I
of
do.
course, slandering ADHD as a something to truly be worried about. It was just I wondered if you thought about what kind of person you are making.
I mean, I am slightly, but honestly, I don't think it's really affected my life. I think it's been a positive thing, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Apart from feeling stupid and hating myself for years.
But sometimes you need a bit of struggle in order to become a comedian. So
Exactly, though. That's true.
yeah,
That's true.
okay.
Thanks for calling me a comedian.
Comedian,
Comedian.
comedian.
It's comedian.
Well, that was nice shirt. So yeah, I did get a dog.
Placebo? I just scanned your text before.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Okay, then let's bloody play the science news jingle.
Oh, science news, huh? Didn't tell me that.
Have you got any more little bits you want to get in before I play the jingle?
I think I'm done.
Okay.
It's that time. Time for science news.
Alrighty, got two articles here, and they're sort of a mirror image of each other. So, I thought I would start with this one.
There's, yeah.
Do you have? Sorry, I haven't started, but do you have any comments there, Michael, already?
I know what the joke is, but I don't know what it is.
That's fine.
So I don't want to ruin the momentum, which I have.
Okay.
already.
Well, as long as you doesn't interrupt the flow, or as long as I wasn't about to explain the sentence I'd had previously or something like that, where the longer you spend before that comes, the worse it would get for the listener in terms of following the gist of the conversation.
Yes.
As long as
No.
that doesn't happen,
Okay.
then I think we're probably okay.
Cool. We're totally on the same page then.
Yeah, then just keep that in mind, I think, going forward. Mm-hmm. And then it probably won't be a big problem.
Excellent.
Of course, if it did come up, I could edit around it.
Yeah.
I could even get a fresh take, and I could just slide that in. No one would even notice.
No one.
So don't worry about it.
All right.
I'm sorry, actually, that I brought it up because I don't think it's probably going to be a problem now.
Okay.
We'll just cut it shorter as the answer.
Just cut
That's
it.
silly. It
Yeah.
was in front of me the whole time.
Sure. Thanks.
A brain circuit discovered in mice could explain why placebo treatments ease pain in people. This is in the New Scientist. A newly identified brain pathway in mice could explain why placebos, or interventions decided to have no therapeutic effect, still relieve pain. Developing drugs that target this pathway may lead to safer alternatives to pain medication, like opioids. If someone unknowingly takes a sugar pill instead of a pain reliever, they still feel better. This placebo effect is a well-known phenomenon in which people's expectations lessen their symptoms even without effective treatment. Quote, our brain on its own is sort of able to fix the pain problem based on the expectation that a medication or treatment might work, says Gregory Scherer at the University of North Carolina. To understand how the brain does this, Scherer and his colleagues replicated the placebo effect in 10 mice using a cage with 2 chambers. One chamber had a burning hot floor, while the other didn't. Sounds humane. After 3 days, the animals learned to associate the second chamber with pain relief. The researchers then injected the rodents' brains with a molecule that causes active neurons to glow when viewed under a microscope. They placed the mice back into the cage and this time heated both floors. Sounds really humane. Although the chambers are now equally hot, the animals still preferred the second one, displaying fewer pain symptoms like paw licking while they were in there. They also had a greater activity in neurons in the cingulate cortex, a brain region involved in pain processing, compared with 9 mice that weren't conditioned to associate the second chamber with pain relief. Further experiments revealed a pathway connecting these neurons to cells in the nuclei and cerebellum, 2 brain areas with no previous known role in relieving pain. To confirm the circuit relieved pain, these researchers used a technique called optogenetics, which turns cells on and off with light. This let them activate the newly discovered neural pathway in a separate group of mice placed on a hot floor. On average, these animals waited 3 times as long before licking their paws as those who didn't have the circuit activated, indicating they felt less pain. If this neural pathway does explain the placebo effect, that can open new strategies for drug development. If we have drugs that can activate placebo effects, that'll be a wonderful strategy for pain management. So, Michael, first thoughts here, but here's my big takeaway here. How crazy that we've got to a point now where the placebo effect, which is literally the definition of not doing anything and still being able to relieve pain, has now been studied so closely that we could actually create a drug which does do something to stimulate the pathway which masks your pain.
Absolutely followed everything that you just said. Well, you said that placebo doesn't do anything, but I'm fascinated by placebo as like as a concept. I think it's one of those it's crazy. It's just insane. Like
The power of the brain, right?
But that's what it is. It's like it's not that it's not doing anything. It's engaging your brain to take control to do something, isn't it?
Yeah, your brain, the expectation that it will do something tricks your brain into feeling better effectively. And to restate the thing that you didn't follow, now that they've identified a pathway that causes this placebo effect, you could create a drug to create the placebo effect.
Yeah.
The placebo effect, which is famously activated by not a drug, right? So now we're using a drug to create an effect that was predicated on not being given a drug. That was the circular thing I was getting to.
Sure. But so the benefit there is that there's no side effects.
It's not addictive like an opioid. I mean, we're not at a stage now where I think they've actually generated something they could test in humans, but it's identified a potential pathway for development of drugs that might prove really helpful.
Yeah. Have you ever been given a placebo and obviously not knowing at the time? Because I'd be fascinated to see that in myself. If I think I'd be resistant to placebo. I think I'd be resistant.
I think I'm pretty good at picking a placebo. I'm pretty switched on.
My buddy.
No, I can't think of any time in which I would ever have been given a placebo. I think that's really a thing for like
trials.
I mean, the closest I suppose you could get, if you're not talking about in a real pharmaceutical sense, the closest is like, oh, I feel like I got a cold coming on. Maybe I'll take a multivitamin and some orange juice, and you're like, oh, I'm feeling so much better, or whatever, right? Like that's in like the
sure.
what do you call it? The like healthcare adjacent. What's that field? Like supplement field, whatever that is. There's
Neuroscience.
There's a word for it. I'm blanking on.
Chiropractic.
Babies.
Religion.
Babies. It's babies. I'm thinking babies. Everyone was screaming it. No, that's the closest I could get.
Yeah.
I think cough syrup generally is completely pointless. There's no point to have a cough syrup. The only
It'll get you high if you mix it with alcohol.
Okay, but it's
Psychedelic.
yeah. The only exception I think is if you're having like a phlegmy cough, you can use a cough syrup to help you loosen that. But just standard like dry cough, pointless. Doesn't do anything. Just eat some honey.
Okay. All right. Good to know.
Yeah.
I feel like I kind of think everything's a placebo. Like now that I'm thinking about it, sometimes I'll get medicine and I'm like, they've given me the placebo.
What do you mean? You went to the doctor and they're like, okay, we'll just give them some pills to take and then you'll feel better.
Give you some. I'm suspicious. I'm like, you're gonna placebo my ass, doc?
You think
antibiotics, huh? All right. Yeah, we'll give it a try. See if it works.
Do you think all medicine is just placebos? They've never invented any drugs. They're all just like sugar pills.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Scientologist now.
This is big fructose. I get it.
This is
the corn syrup industry gone wild.
It's a crazy I guess it's kind of related to that that famous experiment of you have your left hand on a table and then you have another fake hand, like you put your right hand on the thing and then they hit the hand that's fake and you can feel the pain. I guess it's that phantom kind of feeling from the brain maybe.
Well, phantom is the operative word there as well, like phantom limb syndrome, where it's like you're an amputee and you feel like you've still got like an itchy left foot, even though you don't have a foot anymore. Like that's all very well demonstrated. And I think does circle back to that same idea of like the brain is the complete subjective arbiter of our existence. And if it decides that it feels something, even if that doesn't track with reality, it's powerful enough to make reality manifest, right? It's amazing.
It's fucking crazy.
Well, let me flip this mirror image here. Michael, what do you know about the
Flip it and reverse it.
Was it worth it?
Missy.
Was it worth it? Because I was halfway through a sentence and I'm just worried that if we interrupt sort of things, people are not going to be able to follow.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
And what are they like?
Better than yours.
Damn right.
That was the rough cut, the original mix.
Okay.
Just lackluster.
Yeah. Well, I think it's probably better if we just sort of stitch this part together so that we go straight into the article, because otherwise listeners will probably be halfway through my sentence and we're like, what are we talking about again? Like losing the context is probably my main concern.
Babies.
Okay. This is an article called Think You Are Sick. It may be the nocebo effect. Have you ever heard of the nocebo effect, Michael?
No, but I like it.
This is the opposite of the placebo effect. Have you ever walked out of a jam-packed concert or restaurant with a scratchy throat, worried that you just got sick, or swallowed a medication and felt immediately unwell? If yes, you're personally familiar with the nocebo effect, but probably didn't know that's what it's called. It's the opposite of the placebo effect, the evil twin or dark side, says John Kelly, distinguished professor of psychology at Endicott College. It's a negative version of the placebo effect where people are suffering more than they would otherwise because of their negative expectations. With the placebo effect, someone might gradually feel better after swallowing a pill, getting a therapeutic injection, or receiving another medical treatment, even if what they were given is inert. With the nocebo effect, negative beliefs or expectations may elicit symptoms of feeling sick even when the intervention is a sham. It's hard to quantify how common the nocebo effect is because it's rarely measured in clinical trials or doctors' offices, but there are some hints. A recent study involving people with inflammatory bowel disease found that 13% experienced a nocebo effect, defined as new or worsening symptoms, without objective evidence of active disease activity in the first 6 months after switching from one medication to another, despite both having similar clinical effectiveness. Among the researchers' conclusions, misperceptions and negative attitudes towards biosimilar drugs may contribute to the development of nocebo effects and therapy cessation. A 2020 review of clinical trials found that 29% of people who were given a placebo coronavirus vaccine reported having fatigue, and 27% reported a headache from the vaccine. The researchers chalked those symptoms up to people's negative expectations about the side effects of the vaccine, leading to a self-fulfilling prophecy whereby
Leave that in.
Damn
Leave that
it.
in.
Okay, because you commented, I'll leave that in. Leading to a self-fulfilling prophecy whereby the belief that a future event will occur contributes to the actual occurrence of that adverse reaction. There's a whole bunch of detail here. You can click through into the chapter notes to read. But
This is very interesting.
Go ahead.
I got some thoughts.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I actually had this thought when you were talking about the placebo, the first article, that this kind of relates, and not to move too much away from the medical side of this, but this is I think translates to life. You know, people who there's that famous, I think it's Darren Brown, maybe, remember the mentalist guy.
Yeah.
I think it was him. It could be wrong, but he did this experiment where he left $20 on the ground in a street in London, and the people that picked it found the $20 on the ground were the people that tended to be optimistic, and people that walked past it tended to be more negatively biased people. And the theory that was proposed from that was that, people who are optimistic are looking for the good in the world. They're looking for these opportunities, and people who are negative are they're missing. They're missing stuff. And here's my other thing. And again, I've moved away from the medical world, and we can bring it back. But a version of this happened to me not 2 days ago. I was very hungry. I was in the city. I hadn't had lunch. 3 p.m. I was like, I just need to find somewhere to eat.
You saw a $20 note on the ground, and you ate it straight away.
And I rolled that shit up, and I ate it. No, I just wanted to find a place that I was in a mall, but I didn't want to eat in the food court, and so I found a Korean place. It looked clean. There was no one in there. Perfect. And so I ordered the bibimbap. Got it. It tasted pretty good. And I was like, I've never heard of this place. What is this place called? Look them up. 3 stars. And it's got like 2,000 reviews, and they're all very bad. Like the recent ones. And then, I was enjoying my meal halfway through, stupidly looked up the rating. And then started to feel a little sick.
Yeah.
I started
That's
to feel sick.
legitimately the nocebo effect. You have
I was
a
like,
perfect example.
Yeah, thank you. Really?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Negative
Yeah.
expectations of future outcomes. You went from enjoying your meal to suddenly feeling sick the moment that you discovered that it was very poorly reviewed.
Yes. Yeah.
That's your most on-point tangent you've ever taken, Michael.
Do we have a jingle? Is there like a... do you have audible confetti or something?
Yeah, I can...
Just play Old Lang Syne or something. He did it! He did it.
Oh, that's funny.
That's how we end the show.
That was it.
Yeah. You're so influenced by the world around you. It's why even going to a film, you can hate a film just because no one else maybe it's empty in the cinema and no one else is really laughing, and the inverse of that, where you could love a film that is quite bad just because the energy is great in the room.
Yeah.
The substance, I hated it. I absolutely hated The Substance.
I haven't seen it. I think people are mixed on it, aren't they? Or do you feel like you're an outlier when everyone loves it?
It's getting rave reviews, but here's my advice: if you go see The Substance, don't see it at 1 p.m. on a Sunday, because it's a very much a Friday night film.
Okay.
The notes here, another couple of examples here. A 2024 study in the Journal of Pain, sounds fun, found that people who were conditioned with instructions to pay attention to pain had greater anticipatory anxiety and experienced greater pain intensity to a painful stimulus than those whose attention wasn't directed that way. Similarly, 38 women who were presented with an odorless liquid, distilled water, and warned it had an aversive odor that triggers disgust. The participants were then shown disgusting, fear-inducing, and neutral pictures, and they were measured with an MRI. The result was 76% of the participants reported perceiving an unpleasant odor from the water and a greater disgust during pictures of the disgusting image when the fluid was placed next to them, even though it's just a glass of water.
And did you volunteer for this study to have your photo taken, Nick?
Yeah, that's exactly why I look like this.
That's nice.
Here's an important thing: guarding against it. So sidestep the nocebo effect. Just be an informed medical consumer or patient. Simply understanding what the effect is can go a long way to ameliorating it. This is our public service. This is why I bring it up, because knowing about it is half the battle. Remind yourself that negative expectations can trigger side effects or influence your response. Switching negative expectations to more positive expectations can actually reduce the negative symptoms like anxiety and fatigue. So just be open-minded. It doesn't mean ditching awareness or rational thinking. It just means asking your doctor or pharmacist about side effects and how likely they are to happen, and then just checking that information. So,
or your priest.
Rather than focusing on 10% of likelihood of getting a side effect, think of it as 90% chance that you won't. So
that's the thing. So I've said this to you before. I'm so out of tune with my body that I will have an ache sometimes, or I'll be sleep deprived. But I just don't even register it sometimes, and I think I'm a happier person because of it.
Say that again. You don't even register if you're sleep deprived.
I think I have a lot of aches and pains that I am not.
You just shut your brain.
I don't focus on them.
Yeah,
I just turn a blind eye. It's because I'm stupid, on some level, like emotionally.
To bring this back to Dog Daddies, this is sort of like what we have to do with our puppy at the moment, because she gets overstimulated and tired, and you have to lock her in the crate so that she has a nap and calms down. Otherwise, she just goes around biting everything. And I think that's really a metaphor for what you're talking about here, Michael.
Yeah. No, I think Lauren might start doing that soon.
Well, you've already got that dog collar.
Oh, well, I mean, don't get me started on that. And the leash. Daddy needs some alone time. Daddy's in timeout. Why is Daddy barking?
Very good. If you've enjoyed this podcast, well, that's nice to hear. I hope that it's made you think. I hope it's made you blink, and I hope it's made you tink.
Stink.
I hope it's made you stink. If you want to listen to more, then there's plenty more in the podcast feed. Scroll back down. Pick 141. Pick 141. Why not? What have you got to go in? You're going to go listen to someone else's podcast over this? You idiot. When episode 141 is there, a stone cold classic. You can find other stuff at the website, deepfort.podbean.com, etc. And you can get in contact with us at the deepfort email, fuck, I am a mess today. deepfort@gmail.com. You can find us on Instagram, on Spotify, on Facebook. You can just get in touch with us. You can crate train your puppy so that they know how to behave themselves and don't yap around and lie in your bed.
Ruin people's lunches. You okay, dude? You really
I feel like I don't have enough mouth mobility today. I just can't get words out.
Welcome. All right, so this is not new for me, but people have been really bugging me a lot lately.
Okay.
Like properly bugging me. I think the slow walkers out there, they're out of control. It's an epidemic.
Okay.
No one's thinking or checking what's behind them. People are holding hands, just taking up the whole path. It's insane. People are holding me up because they're on their phone and walking, but they're walking all over the place anyway. It's getting a little bit too much. There was a guy on the tram the other day eating sushi with his hands. Sushi.
Sorry, this is a different thing? Like, that's not keeping you in
I'm just
from
saying
walking down the tram? Or was he in front of the tram?
It was just gross. It's like, I'm just saying people are annoying me.
Okay.
But then, but I had an interesting a dilemma, but it was also related to this. And I wanted to know if you've had this or what your thoughts are. All right. So I was on the tram the other day.
There's a guy
sorry,
eating
the
sushi.
train. Yeah. Oh, how'd you know? There's a guy on the train, and this guy just fucking reeks. Like, proper reeks. Now, just to clarify, this is not a person that's down on his luck. I don't think.
He had a Ferrari.
He had Ferrari keys. And he had a Ferrari key.
And he had a Bluetooth headset, and he was saying, buy, sell, buy.
Yeah. He was totally okay. But no,
He kept talking about negative gearing.
He smelled so bad, like, but BO bad, and also like dirty washing.
Oh.
And this is important.
Okay.
He didn't dress bad. Okay. He dressed like a guy, just like you.
Generic. Oh, thank you.
Generic guy. Thank you. Okay.
Oh, thank you. Generic. Oh, that's nice of you. Given some of the things you said about my style in the past.
It's a big step up.
I'm climbing the ladder.
So he's not a schlub. I just want to say that.
Yeah.
Now this is not a packed train, but I mean, kind of in a section, and there's me, and there's this rotten egg with legs, and a couple of students, and this woman who is, looks about my age, late 20s or so. So this smell from this guy is so pungent, and it's been about 5 minutes.
Can I just get a little bit more adjectives here? Are we talking shit? Are we talking BO? Are we talking...
I literally just told you BO, but like bad, proper BO, like, and damp, dirty washing.
Yeah.
That
but
mixed.
Do you think this is like a medical condition?
I think no. I think he's just a
guy that doesn't shower.
He smelled like a teenage boy if he was left home by himself for a month.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Gross. So there's this couple of students. There's not many people in our section. Women are about my age, and the smell is so pungent that it's impossible that no one can smell this. Like, it's everyone. I assume everyone is just yeah. This is not just me. So I'm just holding my breath, and I'm counting down the stops, and I'm hoping for this moment, where you get the look from someone else to acknowledge that there's a weird thing going on.
Yeah.
I'm kind of just hoping for that. It's just like the nod,
yeah,
where you're like, we're acknowledging the weird, gross thing and that means we're not weird or gross.
Yeah.
So I'm not forcing this look to happen, but I'm hoping for one of these nods from the woman, from the woman that's my age, because she seems normal. Yeah, 21-year-old. But then it occurs to me. So I'm kind of standing next to this guy on one side of the train, on the carriage, and the woman there is standing on the other side. So we're in the same section, but she's standing on the other side, and I'm standing kind of next to this guy. It occurs to me then that maybe she thinks that I'm the smelly guy.
Oh.
Because I'm standing. The way it's. I'm not doing a great job of describing the oh my god, I've lost it. Of the blueprint of that's not it, not the blueprint. The blocking. Oh, the blocking. All right, sure, blocking. Oh boy.
Lucky we're not on an audio podcast where your ability to effectively communicate the geography of the space is really important. Otherwise, this would be a complete fumble.
Okay. So the woman, me, Stank Sinatra over here.
Okay, you're pointing. You're doing pointing.
Yeah. You're on
an audio medium. You can't point to make that clearer.
I'm visualizing it for myself.
Okay.
So where we are, okay? I think you guys get it now.
Yeah. If I can quote Michael Zabrecki, where we are is, I think you get it.
Me, I just want to get this one in, actually, because I wrote this one down. It's me and Stank Sinatra. Did you get Stank Sinatra?
Okay. No.
I just wanted to make sure you got that. That's important. So now I'm not only hoping for this nod. I need this nod from this woman. I need her to know that I'm not the smelly guy. And I've got I'm starting to get in my head. I'm starting to get really like I'm fixated on this, and I have like 2 stops left, and I'm like considering getting off a stop early so that she knows that I'm not the smelly one, because when the smell lingers.
But why does that force
and
you
I'm
to get
away.
off earlier? Do you think he's getting off at the same stop as you?
No. I'm getting off so that when I leave and she's left with the smell, she realizes that the smell is him and not me.
Yes, but why do you have to get off a stop early? Why can't you just get off at your stop?
Because because I want to get off immediately. I want her to understand immediately, and also, and this is why. I'll tell you why. Because I'm going through this conundrum in my head, and then she gets off. Oh. I decide not to get off. She gets off. So now there's this woman just out there thinking that I stink. And I'm never going to get to tell her unless she listens to this, I guess.
Well, I was going to say, and I think your first mistake was giving her the default business card so you knew your name and how to identify you. Because now she not only knows there was a stinky man on the train that looks like you, she knows where you live. She knows your phone number. She knows how to get in touch with us. And that's probably a mistake.
Yeah. Ah, jeez. Anyway, have you? I mean,
we've all encountered.
Feeling like I'm
boys,
sounding insane right now. But.
Well, your most insane thing, I think, was getting off early, because I know that's not how it played out because she got off first. But if you got off at your stop, she would still be left with him for however long they were both going afterwards. So I don't understand your logic of I need to get out.
It's a gamble. It's a gamble. Okay, you're not feeling me on this. That's
no,
fine. Oh, well, okay. Well, let's just forget that. Okay, maybe you don't experience that level of
stink culture.
Paranoia. And it's like, well, I actually wrote down.
I think that actually your choice here was to go, like, hold your hand up in the air.
I asked her if she wanted a whiff.
Flag her over and say, come give a sniff under my arm.
No, I know this sounds weird. I know this sounds weird, but I need you to smell me.
I need you to smell me.
Now.
Can you just come over here, 21-year-old girl who's the same age as me? Please come over here and sniff under my arm, just so that we all know it's that guy.
I need this. I need this. It's not a sexual thing.
It's not a sexual thing. It just would make me feel so good if you could come over here and just give me a little sniff.
She takes out one headphone. She's like, what did you say?
Sorry, that was an inside thought that I made an outside thought.
Yeah. All right. Well, I wrote down some other stink pun names.
Yeah.
That I thought you might want to hear.
Yeah. Can I also just ask one quick thing? Do you have a new tat on your arm, or has that always been there? Your right arm.
Where?
That one. This? Yeah.
No, that's always been there. I got it with matching one with Lauren.
Oh. I have not seen it before.
All right. Forget that. I got some other stink pun names that I think you're going to like.
Okay.
These are the B-sides that didn't make it.
Okay. And sorry, just to refresh the audience's memory, your best...
Stank Sinatra.
That's
what I landed on.
That's the top of the pyramid.
That was top of the... That's kind of what you're getting. All right, so I've got Reek Witherspoon.
Okay, pretty good.
Obviously doesn't work because he wasn't a woman. Brad Smelly Armpit.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Didn't know if it was his armpit, though. I mean, I assume it was part of it.
Yeah.
This one's good. Oda from the Star Wars.
If he has to explain
plays better.
It probably looks better on wording, yeah.
Yeah. I got 2 more. Den Smell Washington.
Mm-hmm. Good.
I think you're going to like this last one.
I'm ready.
B.O. Burnham.
That is good.
Yeah,
Funky Brewster?
Good, right? What?
Funky Brewster?
What'd you call me?
Funky Brewster?
Who's that?
Punky Brewster? No? Okay.
We'll edit that out.
I'm going to leave that in, and everyone else is going to be like screaming at the thing. Punky Brewster. I'm Googling it now because you've made me feel self-conscious. This is like me sitting in a train cart waiting for someone to acknowledge me.
This was the real lesson. I brought you around metaphorically.
Punky
So
Brewster.
wise.
Yeah, it was a TV series. Okay.
Is this a okay? Never. All right.
Fine. Well,
Great. So now we ended the show on a lull because you wanted to get that.
well, sorry, as opposed to the high, the highs of B.O. Burnham.
I thought that would be a real applause moment from the listeners
It's possible. It is
when
possible.
I imagined it in my head, telling the story on the podcast.
Well, if we are, I can put in the confetti break and the applause again if you want.
Please do. Please do it. I think more sound effects as a rule.
It does.
I like it. I like a sound effect.
I put the
on
odd sound
podcast.
effect in every now and then.
Do a fart one.
Tumbleweeds mostly.
Yeah. Yeah, but those are sound effects.
Yeah. I do have one story here which I have sort of been waiting a little. It's not because it's like crazy, but it's just been rolling out, and it's a little bit of a social conundrum as well. And I feel like we're in that mindset. So do you mind if I roll this by you?
I insist that you do.
Yeah. So we bought a house. We were dealing with a real estate agent in this process, right? That's an ongoing thing over several weeks, back and forth, dealing with the vendors, dealing with the real estate agents, dealing with the lawyers. Oh, can you confirm whether the thing's been connected to the water? Oh, can you check if it's got bins, this kind of thing. All this kind of, she was our liaison, right? Youngish woman, I would guess early 30s, doing pretty well in the real estate biz, got a Tesla, but also clearly like newish still, like just by age. And she liked us. She was friendly with us. We were friendly with her. And as part of the process... She doesn't love you,
Nick. She's trying to get your money, okay?
Oh, fuck. That's what I was worried about. That is what I was worried about.
Famous.
It's from strip clubs. Is that it?
It's a strip club thing.
So Casey has a green thumb. He has like a bunch of plants. We did several trips of moving plants back and forth when we were moving in. And this had come up in our conversations with us, with the real estate agent. I think we talked about like I liked to cook or something like that. So I was going to use the kitchen more, this kind of thing. Anyway, so it's settlement date. The house is ours. We're going to pick up the keys. The person to give it is this real estate agent, young woman. And, in your head, this is the day, right? Like this is the moment where new homeowners, first-time homeowners, and you're hoping for that sort of little magic moment as well, right?
Absolutely.
Like that sort of, you got that picture
this is like
from
a rite of passage kind of moment.
I want the big bow on the door. I'm picturing like a
confetti,
bottle of champagne, a confetti, play the jingle. And, the special moment, like the sticker with the sold, on the sale sign, all this kind of thing.
For sure.
Not going to lie, didn't live up to that expectation.
Okay.
So we get there. There is no bow on the door. That was my first red flag. I was like, that's kind of default.
Where are the giant scissors?
Where's the giant scissors? How often in my life am I going to get a chance to snip something so big? And nothing? Nothing.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Maybe when you have a kid.
Sure.
A boy.
Yeah, maybe when I get like I win a car on Price is Right. That's my only chance. And you blew it. Second problem. There was no for sale sign, so we couldn't do a sold sticker. They never put a sign up.
Criminal. That's illegal, I think.
I think that's illegal. So couldn't cut a bow, right? The only thing we've got left, right, to make this special is the gift from the agent, right? A little something to just, say, hey, thanks for spending so much money and so much time with us. A little bit of something. Bottle of, it's Moet, just clarify there. The gift, to mark the occasion. So we get the keys. Not a huge procedure. Very informal. I was sort of hoping there'd be a box, like a ring proposal.
Okay,
nah,
a ring.
just out of the pocket and, off the key ring. Here you go.
Yeah.
So then she says, now, I was thinking about what to get you as a little bit of a present.
Here we go.
And I thought about a plant. And then I realized, Casey, you already have so many plants. You know, I'll get you just a basic plant. Well, that'd be silly. That'd be silly.
Okay.
Give a
Self-aware.
plant guy a plant. That's silly. And I was like, oh, Nick, I was thinking, you know, maybe get you a bottle of alcohol or something.
pen.
But I'm sure you have plenty already. Weird sideburn, because I have not established that I'm a huge drinker at all. And she's just leapt to the
really
conclusion.
Look like one. Maybe your skin's a bit red.
Maybe the skin. She's jumped to a big conclusion there that I'm a raging alcoholic.
Yeah.
So unnecessary slam there. And so here's where we get to the meat of the matter, Michael. So what she says is, so what I thought is, give you a couple of weeks and then we can all go out to dinner.
Oh, no.
And I'll shout you dinner.
No.
That is 100%.
No.
100% my reaction. And I looked at Casey and Casey looked at me and we were both in our eyes being like, absolutely not. And then I turned to her and I said, oh, yeah, that sounds nice.
We're busy. We're busy.
What do? You can't say, I don't want to go to dinner with you, a sorted real estate lady. Like, yes, we're vaguely of the same age, but like, it was a commercial transaction. Like, I wasn't feeling a vibe of like, we're going to be friends.
No, that is so gross. You know, she wanted some gay besties. That's what
I think she
wanted.
did. I think she wanted, and to be honest, we did know that she'd like moved to town, so she isn't originally from around here. So like maybe she was actually trying to find like a little bit of a network. But I was just like, we don't know each other. I don't know. Like, you're a real estate agent. He works 7 days a week, which to be honest sounds exhausting. But like, what are we going to do? Go to a restaurant for like an hour and a half and talk about what? I've never met you.
No offense to realtors, but they're, in my experience, just the most boring people.
She was fine, but I also wasn't friends with her. And I was like, well, I can't say no. So I looked at Casey and then I looked at her and I said, that sounds nice.
I guess we're going to dinner.
Now here's the twist, Michael. So moving takes a lot out of you, a lot of moving parts. You know, we had shit to do. We had internet to get sorted. We had utilities. We had stuff to sort. You know, it takes a while. It takes a bit out of you. And she had said, oh, you know, a couple of weeks, I'll let you get sorted and then I'll get back in touch and we'll take you out to dinner. It's been 5-6 weeks. Haven't heard a thing. And now, Michael, I'm still feeling a little bit like, well, what was wrong with us? We didn't get a thing at all. And we didn't even get the dinner.
Now, do you think, well, first question, do you think that gift comes out of her pocket, or do they surely have a kitty for that sort of
I'm
stuff?
sure
right?
that they can claim that from the company.
So
but it
she's not
might be
paying for
well, I guess
Like, was she
it's a
trying to get-
business
I'm just-
expense, right?
Was she trying to get out of having to give you a gift because maybe she doesn't have enough money because she spent it all on a Tesla?
Maybe. I mean, she would have got a good commission for that property. But I have to assume it's part of the process, right? Like, they would have a fund that they just bill it to, or it's like a tax write-off. Just claim it against you. Anytime you take people out in the furtherance of a business transaction, it's a tax write-off. So I'm sure there's
this is an opportunist.
Yeah.
I hate this.
I wonder if, like, she went back to the office and they were like, oh, how did those gay guys go with their house? You know, like, what did you get them in the end? And she was like, oh, I invited them out to dinner. And then all of her colleagues were like, girl, no. What? No. This is not an appropriate thing. And so she's just gently ghosted us rather than risk it.
Do you get to choose the restaurant?
I don't know. If she's like, let's go to KFC. And like, okay, so you have just skimped on a present. Is that what we're doing?
I would think about some restaurants that you really want to try.
Oh.
Like stuff that's like you're leaving for a fancy occasion.
Yeah.
And then just wait for her to, maybe she will, maybe she won't, but if she does, go, lead it. So hey, she says to you, "Hey guys, just checking in. We still got that dinner that I promised. So let me know if you're free." Hey, thanks. Yeah, we're nice and settled. Really wanted to try Nobu though.
Yeah.
What do you think? How's Friday? Just
Yeah.
see if that lands.
Yeah, let's go for the
bad.
4 stars on Yelp. Like all the real pricey ones. $4 signs, I
Yeah.
should say. The $4 signs. And like
$4
try some
signs.
places that we wouldn't go to.
Yeah, I got a great Korean restaurant for you in the Burke Street Mall if you need.
Oh.
Bim
Yeah.
bap.
and it only made me sick halfway through.
$4 signs, but 3 stars.
It's the perfect mix.
Talk about unsettle. I thought of that earlier.
Okay.
Because you're settling the house.
Should I put it back in? Should I cut it out?
Talk about feeling unsettled.
Yeah.
Confetti.
I feel like I've given you too much power now to dictate your own successes. You can't.
Yeah.
I'm just setting the record now. This is a one and done, this episode. This is a one and done. We're not going to keep confetti around for you going forward as just a bit that you can throw in whenever something falls flat.
Yeah. Cue tumbleweeds. Sorry, there's a note to the editor.